anything like a normal pig. She doesn't really, hello mate. Morning all, welcome back to the farm. It's bright and early morning and we're going to give you a bit of a walk around and show you what the morning chores entails, because it's not very organised, but there's a lot to get through, so let's make a start. First things first is chicken pen number one of many. So this needs to all be cleaned out because our batch of pure breeds that are growing on in the room next door need to come in here, and then they've got a month to grow on, settle down before they go for sale. These are some of the breeding groups we've held on to. So there's some silkies which are doing well. We've got 2 cockerels to pick from, but they get on, so we might keep them both. So that's these guys here. So there's 4. How many pullets? 4.
There's 4, yeah.
Yeah, 4 pullets, a couple of cockerels. There's some Wyandottes left over, and then there's a group of Bantam Polish here, which we may or may not put out in the field as well in one of our pens. Now the easy thing with this one is their water is all plumbed in, so as long as that's running, we don't need to do too much there. They've got food. It's probably the easiest one of the lot. Right, let's go through here. There's a crate of chickens in here, which I penned up last night with a head torch because it's easier. Now our big birds are doing well, although not on the fertility side of things. I think I'm going to give the girls a bit of a trim because they are super fluffy. That might help. But I'm hoping that they've been in here a couple of days, and also now he's had a load of other birds around him, he's suddenly realised what the game is. So I'm hoping that these eggs in the back of here will be fertile. So these are the Brahmas. They're probably the tallest chicken breed. Well, certainly the tallest we've got.
It's like in the spotlight there. Can't get in there. Ugh. Hopefully these are fertile.
So due to the fact that it's this time of year and we're selling an awful lot of chickens, we've got bigger batches, so that's why we're kind of, logistics has gone a bit nuts. We're growing them on out there, but most of the time they're always in our outdoor pen, which is like a sale pen, which we're going to put these girls in. For the past couple of months we've been buying them, and we keep them on for quite a few weeks just to make sure they're nicely filled out, all settles in, and then we can put them around in the sale pen. So we've kind of been doing that, and it works well, and I think that gives a better bird for people. A lot of people who sell hybrids, which are these kind of coloured egg laying hybrids, they buy them in and they're gone within days, you know, and it just stresses the birds out. And we just find it's much nicer if we can plan ahead, get batches of birds in and growing on nicely, and obviously on top of that we've got all the birds that we're breeding and hatching ourselves. So let's get these girls settled in. Incubator and hatcher and everything's in this building here. Bit of a mess at the moment, but we'll get all those eggs in there and labelled up, and then I'll show you around what's going on in the chicken quarter. Okay. It'd be helpful if our wheelbarrows didn't all have punches. So when customers arrive, they come into this lower yard, and we're trying to make things a little bit nicer. So yesterday we started putting some grass areas down so that we can have pens out during the day. You alright? Heavy bunch of birds. And then the hybrids are all at the end here. Stay in there, girl. They'll settle in here, and then this weekend we've got a bunch of customers coming for collection. Right, and then into the brooding room and the growers. Let's get this trough here out first. I'll put that out. So out here, it's more organised than this, I promise guys. These are some of the bantams that are fully grown, ready for sale. So morning sun helps as well. So there's some silkies in here, some Pekins, Wyandottes, Americanas, Polish. This girl here with her afro. So really nice, and this is why we keep them on for a few extra weeks or even months, just to make sure they're properly grown, really healthy birds, and then people can come and pick from a nice selection. But before that, we grow them on in this room here, which is a bit warmer. So we've got everything from day-old chicks to growers. So we've got a little hospital ward up here for anyone that's looking like they need a bit of extra care. In here, what's this? When were these hatched?
3 days ago, on Monday.
Monday. So it's Monday's hatch. A little and large, but we've got our Pekin bantam chicks and our breasts, which are the large fowl. So normally we try and hatch them. We're going to hatch them every other week now. So we do a bantam hatch, then a large fowl the next week. And then in here, these are all Orpingtons and a few breasts, but they're just starting to feather up now. So another couple of weeks, and then, well, they don't really need the light on during the day at the moment anyway. And then it's pick and mix in here. All the young stock, you need to get off there because that's got to stay clean. So some Pekins, lots of Polish. She's dumped their head in water. So these are all Pekins that we've hatched ourselves. I think these were a February hatch. A couple of boys. There's a girl here. So they'll all feather up nicely, and they will be, well, in the summer they'll be ready for sale. We were hatching out maybe 20 or 30 chicks every week, with the aim that we were going to be raising those on and they would be ready for people by the summer. But so many people have been buying chicks that we've actually hardly kept any on. These are the first chicks we've managed to keep beyond a week. So we'll see. It might be that we just end up selling the chicks, which is probably easier for us and makes more sense. However, we do need to try and think 3 months ahead all the time. Over the 20 years or so that I've kept poultry, I've used all sorts of different contraptions for brooding. Obviously we've got the heat lamps in the bigger pens. We have those when we do piglets and lambs and stuff like that as well. But they use a lot of heat, and if you're doing small batches, then it makes sense to use lower voltage. So these are contact brooders. They basically have a heat pad, a bit like a heated seat in a car, and they work by the chick being in contact with them. So they're just slightly warm under touch, and you can raise and lower them. In comparison, these are 18 watts. That heat lamp's 150, so it just adds up, and you can easily get 30 chicks under one of these, no problem at all. So you just wind these down, up or down, and you get more or less heat touching their backs. So you can raise them right up if you felt the need, but this time of year, by the time they've outgrown that, they're pretty much fully feathered. So it's great having proper indoor space. We're going to build a load more pens. We're going to take down those dividing walls and carry that on through. But it's far nicer for people when they come to view and pick birds to see them out on grass, and that's where all of our own birds are and our breeding birds. So that's why these are only small little lawns, but by the time we put up some picket fence hurdles, which are going to knock up, it just means that they can come and see them in place. And we've also been building loads of chicken housing when I find time. So we may sell a few of those, and if we do, we'll have a little area around here to put those. Lots of temporary pens going on. So there's some black Pekins in here, lavenders over there. All of our breeding, all of our layers are over there. Another spare cockerel. But here are some of the pens that we've been building. They're just not quite done yet because they need doors and roofs and stuff and floors. And Joe was keen for me to show you the disorganised chaos that it is now, so I can be accountable and I can get it better for next week. So that's what I'm doing. But it's an embarrassing shambles of chicken pens and ducks. So these are the ducks. I say that, they've just gone back in. So there's a little flight of ducks. I think nearly all those are sold. Maybe there's 8 khaki Campbells left. It's bizarre, we just sold absolutely loads of ducks in the last few weeks. So I've got more day-old Cherry Valleys coming every few weeks, so we'll be raising ducks now. And same with the khaki Campbells actually. But if I can get ahead, then hopefully I can have plenty throughout the summer. Right, we are in our little incubator room, or part of room, in the parlour at the moment, and we're hatching every week, and I thought I'd do a little bit of a snippet in this video to show you what goes on. But if you want to see a full in-depth sort of video, if that's of interest to anyone, showing you how we set the eggs, how we hatch them, the setup with the chicks and the brooders, then let me know and we could put a video together next week. But this is a big hatch this week. So we've got another one of these smallish incubators that has just one tray, but that means one tray per week for us. So we hatch every Sunday. And this is a bit of a monster hatcher. These are all due to hatch this weekend. So we're moving them from the incubator, which is doing all the turning. And while you could hatch in here, and we have done, and I have done years ago, I only used to have a machine like this. We've got an old school dedicated incubator poly hatch, which is just a still air unit, and we use that as our hatcher. We can get the humidity not much higher, and we don't need to be turning them in here. So we've got all sorts in here, mainly Polish and Pekins, all bantams anyway. Most of them are ours, but there was, actually this is the week when we had some from another breeder, so there's about 30 Polish, 30 Pekins, so it's going to be busy this weekend. And actually, even though they're 2 days off, you can hear and see that one's already pipping, so we want to get these in nice and quickly, get the humidity up and leave them to it. So we've been hatching every week for the past 2 months, and we have hardly any chicks or any birds still here. Everyone's been buying them as chicks, which it's good from a business point of view. It means we have no larger stock to sell later in the year, which is a bit of a pain. So we need to be strict, and I think this batch we're going to try and keep quite a few of these on, just so we've got some pullets to sell in the summer. And that's going to go on. So we've got an old school thermometer here on the right, which we can check on. A still air incubator like this, you actually need to be up at about 39 degrees. And then we've got the humidity in there, and that'll start climbing. Now the lid's on. I've blocked off 2 of these holes. But like I said, we'll go into everything in more detail if people are interested, because there's a little bit to it. So I'll come back in a bit and just see to make sure that humidity is climbing. Those need to be graduated to a different brooder. They are last week's hatch, the only ones that are left. These are Bress, dual purpose breed, and they've been they're just the strongest chicks. They're amazing, really. Although that said, I wasn't happy with the quality of our cockerel, so I ended up sticking them in the freezer, and therefore that's the last hatch. We've got 5 hens, and he wasn't big enough. Obviously he was fertile, very, very fertile, but he was a bit aggressive, very noisy, and I decided it was time to get rid of him. We've got about 50 chicks, maybe 40 or 50 chicks available. They're all for sale, but we're going to try and keep a few on, so we've got a bigger pen for next year. That said, they are a really good dual purpose breed, and if anyone's interested in having some really nice heritage birds that they can keep the hens back, because they'll be great layers for next year or later this year, and then having some really usable table birds, then the Galois, the Bress, they're called, are very, very good, and we're going to be working on that breed next year. These are all the chickens that we butchered ourselves a couple of weeks back. Now these are more of a commercial bird, and they're great. I mean, you can't fault them for speed of growth and things like that. However, they're just, I'm not a fan of the breed. They're not quite right. They shouldn't be growing that fast, and as much as you try and slow them down, give them a really natural slow life out in the field, you just can't slow them down too much, because genes are genes. So anyway, we got 40 or 50 in the freezer. This is our own, for our own consumption, butchered on the farm by ourselves. Anyway, gone a bit off topic there. Let's go back to the live ones. Hey, well, we're really behind on farm videos at the moment. So while I'm down here, I'll show you what's been going on with the birds, because the first part of this video I think we filmed a few weeks back. So there's more, even more. Done a bit of landscaping down in the lower yard here, just so it's a little bit more customer friendly. We'll put some pens here in the future. We are nearly in bank holiday weekend, which means we're going to be busy with the chicken sales. So if anyone is looking for some chickens this weekend, fancy a trip to Gloucestershire, send me an email and I'll send you some more info on what we've got available. So we've got, our normal hybrids are in here. I think there's 60 or 70 birds in here. So there's 7 or 8 varieties, I think. Some of them just coming into lay. Silvers, Sussex, Speckledies, Blacktails, Warrens, Road Rocks, a few Silver Duckwing, and I think that's it, the Bluebells. So that's the normal lot. We've got another supplier. We're just getting a few more of the patterned and nicer coloured birds. So in here there's some of the blue egg layers and some of the leghorns. So there's the Exchequer leghorn there, Millefleur, Speckledies, Splash. Had someone absolutely clear us out on bantams yesterday. Someone came and bought 40, took 20 silkies and 15 Polish and cockerels and everything. So we're really low on pure breeds. Last of the ducklings from this week. I think we had 50 ducklings this week, and there's 8 left. Again, these are birds that I was planning to grow on for the summer, but everyone wants ducklings. So in Khaki Campbell's in there. The 2 Cherry Valleys are reserved. Someone wants them in a couple of weeks' time. But those khakis, if they don't sell, that's fine. There's another 50 or so coming this week. But anyway, ducklings are doing okay. It's organised chaos in here. Our little old girl here, she came up from the old house with us. She went broody, so I snuck a bunch of chicks under her. I think she's got 8-ish. So these are lemon pekins. They are, well, the mum and dads are behind me actually. And a couple of partridge pekins. Through to the stable, and it is looking pretty bare in here. Not many birds left at all. I've got a quartet of black silkies, which we are going to keep as a group and sell, because there's a cockerel over there. What have we got? A bunch of pekins, which are okay, but they're not quite fully grown yet. A few silkies left. Most of those are reserved for the weekend. Now, one of my jobs for this afternoon / this evening is to move Bruce and Lucy. Anyway, Bruce came back. Bruce is our boar. He's been serving sows and gilts all over the place. He's come back. He was quarantining in here, and then another breeder in Gloucester has a sow who needed serving. So she's brought her here, Lucy the pig. The owner did tell me that she's a bit special and doesn't like to do anything like a normal pig. She doesn't really, mate. I could probably walk Bruce here through all the fields and through the woods, and he'd just follow a bucket of feed. Yeah, you're going outside, mate. Lucy just not fussed with food or anything. So really, I should be backing the trailer all the way up to this gate, getting them loaded, driving them down there. That's what I should be doing, but instead I think I'm going to just try and get them to walk and hope that she follows him, and then walk them all the way down to the other pigs.